What did we get ourselves into?
Hello, welcome to our first episode of Teachers on Teachers. You're brought here with Mr. O'Brien and Mr. Barbarick. So I'm going to start my first question right away.
All right.
Being freshman teachers, do you feel as if you have a hand in helping create who these kids are going to be going into future grades?
To a small extent, it's tough. I mean, we're with them 47 minutes a day, and I do think, each of us are with them 47 minutes a day, and I think that's not a lot, but I think we may shape some study habits and work ethics, hopefully for the positive.
Yeah, going into other grades, absolutely, because freshman teachers, that's supposed to be the year you realize you're in high school now. It's a transition. So as freshman teachers, we got to help them with that transition, and hopefully, maybe sometimes it even works.
Sometimes.
Okay, let's pick a more random question.
I can't wait.
Nice.
Let's
What's
go.
your favorite lunch to bring into school?
Ooh.
Favorite lunch to bring into school? That's a great question, because a bad lunch really brings down the rest of the day. If you get a good lunch to look forward to, it's a good day, no matter what else happens.
Having a good lunch to look forward to is key. Today I had a meatball sandwich from leftover
solid.
meatballs. I looked forward to it. It was great. But if I got to go with my favorite, I think it would be on a day that we are able to go out and we get some Jersey Mike's,
Yep.
Five Guys, or Pachi's. Yeah.
Even the occasional burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like variety.
Mhm.
We're not one track guys.
No, I mean, Italian from Pachi's, always a
Got
solid lunch.
You got to have a side slice
With
though.
the side slice, very important.
Yeah.
The side slice.
Yeah, just like if you order like a meal by number at Burger King, whatever you get, you got to have a side burger too.
Yeah, side burgers are crucial.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's,
I think that covers it.
Italian from Pachi's with a side slice,
That can't beat it.
perfect.
Okay, I'm going to start a real topic since you guys are both Star Wars nerds.
Guilty.
Fair.
Did Han or Greedo shoot first?
Han.
No, it's fine. Come on.
Next question.
Nonsense.
Next question.
Chronicle or release order?
Oh. That's tough. You want to go first?
Chronologically or release order? I don't know. I mean, they're each kind of their own separate thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's 1 through 9, but each 3 is a separate
Yeah.
story that works perfectly well.
On its own.
Yeah, if they were the only 3, you'd still have beginning, middle, and end.
I mean, except the sequel. I don't promote the sequel trilogy. I will never promote the sequel trilogy. I like to, in my head canon, kind of imagine that it never happened. I watched it in order of release because obviously I was born before the prequels were made, as was
Same.
Mr. O'Brien. When I did it with my kids, I did it chronologically.
And sometimes I'll even just pick one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch all of them necessarily, but I'm in the mood for,
Which one would you pick?
Empire is probably the first
Yeah.
one I would go with. I've rewatched Revenge of the Sith a number of times.
Yeah.
I've probably watched them all. Jesus, I don't even know. Many, many times.
Yeah.
The only one I'm really not going back to is like
Attack of the Clones.
which is terrible.
Yep.
I'm not as anti-sequel trilogy.
Nobody's
I
perfect.
love The Last Jedi. I think The Last Jedi is probably in my top 3 Star Wars movies overall. Rise of Skywalker is not one I go back to a lot, but definitely like those 3. I think like probably Empire, Sith, Last Jedi. If I had to pick one from each trilogy.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character of all time? Give me like a couple off the top of your head.
I know it's tough because there's so many great secondary characters.
Yeah.
There's so many great supporting characters who just show up.
Yep.
Like think about Boba Fett. He's a extremely minor
Yep.
in terms of like screen time, but the impression he makes is incredible. Lando,
Lando's amazing.
you love Lando.
Is there anybody cooler?
No.
Yeah.
No.
He could pull off a cape.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You or I wore a cape, we'd be weird. Lando.
I could probably get away with it.
Probably.
But not everyone can do the cape.
No.
When I was little, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. When I was 5 or 6 years old, that was it. But it's a brutally difficult question to be like, who's your favorite character? Because there's so many
Yeah.
different levels.
I'm a Solo guy.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to pick him, but I also love Anakin
Mhm.
from the prequels. And obviously, if we bring in shows, Clone Wars, Anakin is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on the sequel trilogy more.
You just heard it.
Yeah.
You don't want to go more in depth?
He refuses to acknowledge, but
Oh,
I
okay.
can defend my love for The Last Jedi if you'd like to hear about that.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go
I'll go
first?
first.
Okay, go. You go.
All right, let me tell you. So The Last Jedi, right? You got. So The Force Awakens was very crowd pleaser. Let's just retread. Let's pick out some of these elements from the original and kind of just repeat them. Last Jedi, you get a different director come in. And I don't know, you guys out there in the booth might be too young to recall the Leroy Jenkins meme. I don't know if you know that one.
Blanking.
So one of the early viral memes was these guys playing like World of Warcraft or one of those types of games, and they're carefully setting up their strategy, and they didn't realize that one guy was like in the bathroom the whole time. And his character was named Leroy Jenkins. All right. So they get the strategy all set. They know exactly what they're going to do. Leroy Jenkins comes back, straps the headphones on, and just screams, "Leroy Jenkins," and runs into battle. Completely destroys the plan. The other guys are beside themselves. To me, The Last Jedi is like Rian Johnson, just Leroy Jenkins Star Wars. He's like, I don't care about your callbacks, your continuity. I'm just doing something different. I'm throwing a wrench into the whole thing. And I love how that creates this dissonance between The Last Jedi and the other two. It's bold, it's original, and I think especially in the last couple of years, Star Wars needs more of that kind of thing.
You have a hero and you have a villain. The original 6 are about the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. All right? Anakin Skywalker's descendants at the end of Return of the Jedi are happy. It had wrapped up perfectly. Everything is looking good. Okay? Then we come along and somehow we have a mysterious villain that we know nothing about who dies in the second episode of the sequel trilogy. Then, all of a sudden, we need a villain. What do? We bring back the Emperor. All right? And at the end, we found out that Rey is the grandchild of the Emperor, and all the descendants of Skywalker are dead, and Rey decides to take the Skywalker name? No. All right? This is garbage. This is terrible. All right? The people at Disney that did this should be held accountable. It makes me angry. Angry.
And I agree with a lot of that. I think you can lay all of that at the feet of J.J. Abrams, really, which I still think Last Jedi gets to sort of, distance itself from that because it was trying to do something different.
I think the two biggest villains in the Star Wars universe are Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson. They single-handedly tore down a beautiful thing.
I don't think that Rian Johnson deserves.
I wanted to see Knives
The
Out.
last,
Look good.
the
I can't see
Last
it.
Jedi, like the title, The Last Jedi. I think it meant that, is Rey a Jedi? No, not exactly. Is Kylo Ren a Sith? No, not really. There really was, like Luke was the last Jedi. Now things are different. The kid at the end who reaches out and grabs the broomstick with the
broom
Force.
boy, yeah.
I thought that was good. That was going to be fantastic. Now everybody can tap into the Force. You don't have to be a Jedi or a Sith and be part of a lineage or anything like that. But then Rise of Skywalker just put it right back in the box. Out of the entire galaxy, there's like 2 bloodlines who can actually do this, and yeah.
2 bloodlines left that have the required midichlorians to actually do this. Yeah, the midichlorians are important. Can't forget about them.
Yeah. What else you got, Seamus?
Okay, we're gonna keep on the Star Wars theme for a little bit.
I knew this was going to be like this.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on the recent move towards the Disney Plus shows over the movies?
Ooh.
When the shows are good, I don't mind. But when they're, what's the word you guys use? Mid.
Yeah.
When they're mid, like Book of Boba Fett, extremely mid.
Very mid.
Ahsoka, just really mid as hell.
Kenobi,
Yeah,
for the most part, mid.
mid. Andor, fantastic.
Yep.
Andor was wonderful.
So first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Great.
But the more they get bogged down with connections and lore and fitting in, it takes a little bit of the, it takes a little bit away.
I will say, like, a Star Wars movie used to be an event.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we live in the world now where we don't have blockbuster movies like we used to.
Nope.
And I feel like, we've lost a little something, and I realize maybe I'm complaining. I mean, we're getting more content, but as you say, a lot of it is mid. But we missed the big event. It was, we've lost something here, and it's hard to really put my finger quite on it.
I mean, look what Marvel did to itself.
Yeah.
You know, and Star Wars used to be every couple years.
Yeah.
You know, but when you flood the market, it's not all going to be good. There's going to be some bricks in there with the good things. So
Yep.
oversaturation, it's not. They're telling the stories you didn't necessarily need to hear.
Yeah.
And if you tell it well enough, then it's fine. But if it's, as we've been saying, if it's mid, then what's the point?
Yeah. And I had high hopes for some of this. Like, I had high hopes for Kenobi. Like,
Yep.
I thought it was going to be great. And I was just sort of like, Andor was a surprise. Were you
Yeah.
shocked by it? Like,
I had no interest.
I had,
in it.
me neither, like none. And it turned out to be probably the best of the bunch, I'd have to say.
By far,
You know.
yeah. I mean, Obi-Wan was such a wasted opportunity. 'Cause
Yep.
You have a great actor who enjoys playing the character
Yeah.
at the perfect age where you can just put him back in there at that stage of Obi-Wan's life that you wanted to do. But I feel it was just really wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
I think Andor, I was talking to Mr. Brazil about this the other day. Remember the electrified floor there in the prison?
Yes. Yeah.
That should be the hall outside. Alright? I think the bell rings for class, and you got 15 seconds to get into the class before the floor becomes electrified. I think that would solve a lot. We'd lose a lot of kids on the first day, but I think the second day onward, it would the pros outweigh the cons there. I think that's a great idea. Just throwing that out there. You can take it. If Mr. Sullivan's watching this.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I think it's an idea worth exploring. I mean, you guys laugh now. Wait till they do it.
Okay, we're gonna go back to food for a little bit. What's your favorite snack at the movies?
Popcorn? It's got to be popcorn.
Anyone who
Yeah.
goes into the movies and they're not thinking popcorn, that's just kind of weird.
Yeah, you got to have a popcorn, got to have a Diet Coke,
Yeah.
and then you're good.
I think that's fine. I mean, you see these movie theaters now where they serve like actual meals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want no part of that. No.
None.
No.
I don't want to be sitting near somebody eating like chicken wings trying to watch
Yeah.
a movie. It's vile.
Yeah, they drop their bone on the floor. That's gross.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Popcorn and the largest soda you can.
Fit into the cup holder, which tend to be too shallow, by the way.
Yeah.
You got a soda this big and you only want to have like that much of a cup holder. We need bigger cup holders in general.
Yeah.
It's not just a movie thing. It's
Cars.
cars.
Yeah.
It's a public issue. It's
It is.
bigger cup holders.
Okay, so we're gonna shift gears a little bit to school topics again.
I'd love to have there's one question about teaching and then it was like 25 minutes. Let's get back on topic now, right?
Do you personally find, as time goes on and new generations of kids come in, do you think they get better or worse? Like more immature, more serious, whatever?
It's tough to really get a grasp on that the last few years because of COVID was such a huge issue, and then we had the remote work and hybrid, and it's really tough to really get a because that cohort of kids that came through during that time period experienced something different that kids before hadn't. We seem to kind of I feel like we're getting more of a return to normalcy, but I will say this, I've taught in 3 different schools. I've taught, on both coasts of the country. For the most part, kids are kids.
Oh, yeah.
They're exactly who you expect them to be, and freshmen especially, come in, immature, and they leave right when they're starting to get interesting.
Yeah, I think that's true. Every year, every grade of kids has the same types of kids.
Yep.
Just in different, in different proportions.
Yeah.
And I think that what we've seen over the last couple of years, depending on how old the kid was when they were like in remote school when COVID hit, they're missing a different thing. Like if you miss 3rd grade, I don't know exactly how it works out, but like every grade seems to be missing some different aspect of like, academic life, Are they getting better or worse? I don't know. I mean, certain challenges get more challenging every year. Yeah, but I don't know if you can really say like better or worse. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, but for the most part, like you said, kids are kids.
And I know you guys are probably sitting there in the studio thinking, "Oh, we were never like that as freshmen." You were.
We were. We know.
All right, fair enough.
We could still tell stories. I remember.
Of course he is.
Having Seamus and Sushmoy and I forget who else was in that, whichever Howie was in that class. Yeah, I remember a couple stories you should probably keep off the air from that class.
Okay, considering you guys are both parents, this is a question that can relate to both of you. What age do you think a kid should get their first phone at?
As late as possible.
Yeah.
I screwed up, and when COVID happened, I went out and got an iPhone for my oldest. She was in 5th grade at the time, and I think I got it right around her 11th birthday. And at that point, it kind of became the standard, because if I get the oldest a phone at 11, the youngest need to get them at 11.
Yep.
I really think you should try to hold off as long as possible. We don't need, TikTok length attention spans. They need to have something more.
Yeah, I think we did the same thing. You always end up getting it for some other reason.
Yep.
Like, it's COVID, or we get this for school, something like that.
Yeah.
And you can see the attention span get smaller.
Yep.
We monitor her, phone pretty closely. She's in like a group chat with her dance buddies. We find a lot of stuff like, that's not how you guys are supposed to be talking to each other. Yeah, you got to hold off as long as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Because like I say, like she's reading less, but the obsession when you're that age, it's too tough to break, really. So hold off as long as you can.
So, connecting back to that same topic, how do you think social media has influenced kids now?
Yeah, not good. Not good. Not good at all.
I think because of what it is and because of the content that people put on social media, the impression is given that everybody has a great life and that things are good, because you never put the down times on there. You just put the celebration. So from the outside looking in, you look at you may look at a peer and think, oh, this kid's got a great life. And you're thinking, look at me, I'm not doing any of this. I'm not happy, and you think you're the only one. And like something that's supposed to connect everybody can almost like isolate people. And then another thing is that, you know, if a kid was having a hard time at school, you know, when we were kids, the minute they walked up the driveway and closed the door behind them, it was over. I mean, with all this connection through all these apps, you know, the Snapbook, the MyFace, all that stuff, you know, they can just talk to them all the time, and it just never ends. And it's tough, and I don't think that's good for kids, and I think it's no, I'm not a fan.
The stuff some of you guys do for clout
Yeah.
on social media is insane to see. Well, didn't some kid get shot? It was in like a mall in like Minnesota or something like that, and some YouTube kid tried to pull some kind of stunt. He was bothering some guy who was just trying to get like some food order or something like that.
Oh, one of those like
Dude shot him.
pranksters? Yeah.
Dude straight up shot him.
I don't know
in the
about
mall.
it. Yeah. But the prank videos, yeah, it's bound to happen, you know.
But yeah, when we were young, we did plenty of stupid things too.
Yeah, but we didn't broadcast it to the world. That's the
Exactly.
difference. There's no record of our stupid things. Your stupid things, your generation's stupid things will live on forever.
Yeah, there's no escaping that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think overall, yeah, it has definitely had a negative effect.
And I'm no social media crew. I got none of it.
But adults do some of the same stuff. You were talking about how people only share the good.
Yeah, same
You
deal.
see people post all these things about their kids and how awesome the kid. They never show you when their like kid drives into fits of screaming madness. They don't show you
Yeah, or
those times.
you know.
They make it seem like everything's perfect, and it's false. It's totally false.
And adults behave like children on Facebook too. I hear stories from my wife all the time. They're bickering like little kids. It's really kind of pathetic.
It is.
I don't have social media. If I did have social media, I would not engage in that sort of thing. Like, are you really going to get into a keyboard war with somebody? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna get one last question before we go. What was the stupidest thing you guys did when you were kids?
They were willing to.
Yeah.
Share?
Yes. This is that we're willing to share.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a lot to choose from here. Stupidest thing.
I went car surfing and cracked my pelvis. Yeah.
Okay.
I was on the roof of my buddy's Dodge, and we're in the high school parking lot, and I was trying to impress a girl, and the car went around a corner, and I went straight, and when I landed on my hip, it took a chunk the size of a quarter out of my pelvis, and it was just like floating there. I remember seeing it on the x-rays. Needless to say, the girl was not impressed. It did not work out for me, but that ranks right up there with some of the dumbest things I ever done.
Me and my friends didn't really do like a lot of stupid stunts and things like that. We definitely hung out in a lot of places we were not supposed to be that were potentially dangerous. There's like an abandoned house in Everett that we would sneak into, and you probably could have fallen through the like the floor or something like that. There was a place down near, we called it the Marsh, and found out later that GE or Monsanto or whoever had been like dumping
Chemicals?
down there.
Explains a little bit.
And we definitely, I don't know if not sure how to explain this part, but yeah, we shouldn't have been there. We were doing things we shouldn't have been doing, and we should not have been there in the first place. So it's a miracle that none of us were grievously injured or gotten more trouble than we did.
I used to well, this goes right up there. As my father had several sports cars, and when he went away, I used to take them out, and I would mark with like a little dot of chalk on the floor where the tires were. So I made sure to. So I'd take his Corvette out, and I would just do what kids do, and I would make sure to put it back right in the same spot.
I thought of one little, as you mentioned, your dad, this will break your heart. I was going out to play, we needed a baseball. And I was looking through the house for a baseball. I grabbed one, all right?
You sure this isn't the Sandlot?
I don't know, I never saw the Sandlot. I grabbed a baseball, right? There's a signature on it. That I thought was just, like, you know how some of them you buy, they have the fake signature on there? It was a real signature on the baseball.
Was it Babe Ruth?
No, it's Fred Lynn.
Oh, Fred. Oh, yeah.
So Boston legend, not like that, but
That's like the plot of the Sandlot.
is it?
It was a Babe Ruth ball,
Huh.
and he
Weird.
took it out and played with it, and then
Sure.
then they had to get it back from the dog. But the James Earl Jones character, who second baseball movie I saw him in, he was in
Yeah.
Field of Dreams too,
Field of Dreams,
right?
yeah.
He gave him a replacement ball with the autographs of all the 1927 New York Yankees.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, the first Sandlot was good.
Yeah,
You should see it. Good
Yeah.
family movie.
nice.
I
So
can't-
yeah, I destroyed
a Fred Lynn ball.
Fred Lynn autograph baseball. Yeah.
Is your father still alive?
Yeah.
You know what you need
Fred
to do?
Lynn still
I think so. You know what you need to do?
go up to Sports World,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and go get him a.
get fleeced by that
Yeah.
guy for a Fred Lynn autograph.
Well, you know, if you can't do that, maybe just go for the Iron Messiah. you
I'll
know?
hang out outside Stop and Shop and see the car coming.
See if we can get a autograph.
That'll make up for it.
Yeah.
Well, Seamus, this was a delight.
Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up for our first episode on Teachers on Teachers. If there's anything you guys would like to say before we leave, you may say it now.
No, I'm good.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing these episodes wherever they're going to be.
Yeah.
If they're going to be anywhere, I don't even know.
Thank you for joining us. Next episode should be Fontanella and Bursaw.
Oh, that's appointment viewing right there.
Oh boy. How did we get picked for this? Are we the premiere episode?
It must be, yeah.
I hope so.
'Cause you got to start off with something riveting.
Absolutely. Good job. Way to go, guys.
What are our eye lines? Like, are these the cameras?
No idea. And on top of it, isn't it customary to have like a cup of coffee or something? I feel like
Water.
some sort of beverage would be appropriate, you know? When you've stepped on a Barbie doll in the middle of the night, that's the last thing, you know, all right? It's almost like a Lego sometimes.
You
Nah,
got
it's
to
not
do your
as
part
Lego.
to smash the patriarchy there. And then follow it up by watching Oppenheimer, because that's, you know, patriarchy in action, basically. So, nice balance. Nice balance there.